Let's think about the framework now in terms of the launch KPI framework. So some of you know when you're creating your launch campaign framework, we have a very simple six-step approach. What is the problem we're trying to solve at launch? Who are we actually talking to? So a segmentation approach. Who are the innovators? Who are the fast followers in a launch, et cetera, et cetera. You can do this by personas, you can do this by behavioral analysis, et cetera, but really making sure your segmentation is good. What are you going to say to those different segments? What content is important? What channels are you going to use to support the content and make sure all of those channels are connected and making sure there's a simple but a logical flow of channel engagement. And then finally, the one we're going to talk about today is the KPIs. What KPIs should we put in place? What do we need to start measuring? What do we need to stop in terms of engagement or continue? So that's where we're going to focus today, is really the sixth step of the six-step process. So we're going to start thinking about our launch KPIs. So we have a very simple quadrant, 4x4 quadrant. When we think about KPIs, we look at the quantitative KPIs, we look at qualitative KPIs, we look at channel or content specific KPIs, and we look at the brand KPIs. These are leading KPIs and these are the lagging KPIs. And we always start with this reach KPIs. Are we actually connected to our physicians? How many people turned up to watch our launch webinar? Then we need to move into a qualitative. It's great that you have 1,000 people turn up to your symposium, but did they enjoy the actual symposium, the launch symposium? So we talk about qualitative channel specific engagement metrics. So did they actually enjoy the experience? Then we move into specific conversion KPIs. Will it make some kind of difference? Are they going to apply the knowledge from the symposium, from the webinar, from the MSL visit, from the rep visit to their clinical practice? Is it going to make some kind of difference, their intent to prescribe, etc.? We call these the conversion metrics. Again, they're qualitative, but they're specific to the brand. And then finally, it's the one which is going to pay all our mortgages. It's effectively the effectiveness. It's how much of a difference. What's the market share? What's the share of voice and the actual market share, the actual prescription data, the effectiveness. And again, this is a quantitative brand. So this is a very simplistic matrix, but it's a very powerful matrix if you're going to start thinking about the different types of KPIs that you're going to drive. There are some common issues, so I'll run through these in a little bit more detail. So if we think about the reach metrics, this is where I would say Biopharma spends the money. It's really on creating dashboards, aggregating CRM, email, web, call data, etc., making sure you're capturing the data, make sure you're doing something with it. But these are reach metrics. It is valuable, don't get me wrong, but it's only very much a small part of the picture. And also quite expensive to maintain as well. But they're important, but effectively these can be called the vanity metrics. Now we move into the engagement metrics. So these are such things of customer perception of the channel, perception of the content, ease of use, etc. Very few companies measure this systematically. Most really rely on sporadic pre-post surveys. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Also, the key issues is that medical and commercial typically silo their approach. They don't share the data. There's no overall holistic picture of a qualitative, are our key customers actually enjoying the content? Do they actually getting some value in some of the channels that they use? So typically this is a missed KPI throughout the industry. When we move to conversion, so such things like a brand attribute perception, intent to prescribe, brand NPS, again, rarely measured. With really the frequency and the rigor that is needed to really drive action. And this is where we kind of see action. Are we missing? Are we leading? Are we lagging? And the NPS of a brand will really tell you that story. What are the drivers behind NPS that are going to tell us that story? And then finally, obviously, effectiveness. Yes, you do have, a lot of pharma has access to sales market share data, but that kind of magically pulling it all together, where that red thread is, the return on investment, cost to serve calculations still do remain slightly elusive for a majority of teams. So coverage, again, is partial. You can make some conclusions around sales and market share data, though.